Hey everybody, it is January 4th, 2010. I'm Sonic Sons, and I'm here to talk to you about nihilism and the pointlessness of it all, as it were. Someone left a comment on my channel a while ago that said, "What do you think about nihilism?" And I responded on their channel, "I think it's pointless. What do you think about nihilism?" And they haven't gotten back to me yet. More recently, I was talking to my girlfriend, who goes by the name of Carol online, and Carol was saying that nihilism seemed sort of interesting or appealing in some way, and I said, why? And we started having a discussion, and, well, here I am doing a YouTube video. Nihilism is actually sort of diffuse and broad. I mean, there's moral nihilism and ontological nihilism. That's not the exact term, it's epistemic. Nihilism involves something not mattering in one form or another. And the traditional idea you're going to get from the word nihilism is a philosophy which states, none of this matters. I don't care. Nothing is good, nothing is bad, nothing is any sort of thing. And here we are into the nihilist idea being a little more broad than you might think, the notion that oblivion would be better than what we've got. This is what Carol was quoting someone, maybe it was H.P. Lovecraft, who was saying that in oblivion, every wish is granted. To which I replied, except the wish to exist. Nihilism, as you might imagine, typically has something to do with pessimism. You know, people who feel, particularly of that oblivion branch of it, you know, wouldn't it be better to just be dead, or more specifically than just dead and maybe there's an afterlife? No afterlife, just like no existence, no, if I wasn't here and if nothing was here, that would all be better. That's the idea of nihilism. That one particular idea of nihilism. Again, they're sort of broad. There are various kinds. In fact, there could be even some kinds of nihilism that are sort of a positive thing because it's confusing the way you define it. But yeah, there's this idea of pessimism with that oblivion thing. It goes, well, the world sucks. Wouldn't it be better if we just didn't have a world? Or if I personally didn't exist in it? And I just wasn't here to experience all the crap. And I can at least say in Carol's case, there's a connection there between random crap she's previously been through, which previously led her to these nihilistic sort of ideals. Of course, the trouble with that is it completely ignores all the positives of the world, isn't it? It's a fairly obvious counter to these things. This is the way our conversation ran. We were talking about all these things. In oblivion, every wish is granted, she said. That was a quote from H.P. Lovecraft. And I said, except the wish to exist. As an idea. In oblivion, there would be no sorrow. And I'm like, yeah, there would be no joy. She was referencing the main villain from the video game Final Fantasy VI, who said something along the lines of, why do you bother creating things when they're only going to be destroyed? To which I responded, why do we bother destroying things when they're only going to get recreated? With all the destruction that has occurred in all human history, all the wars, famines, plagues, and droughts, and natural disasters, and unnatural disasters, or whatever, we're still here. In fact, we humans are more numerous than ever before. So apparently we've learned to survive or something, and there may be trouble in the future. Further wars, global warming may make things suck for a while. I don't know. Exactly. I do believe in global warming, by the way. I just don't know to the exact degree which we'll deal with it or not deal with it. And sure. I don't deny the existence of, as the Vlogbrothers call it, world suck. The stuff that sucks in the world. But we can't ignore the existence of all the good things. Remember that? At least the possibility of there being good things. And on the note of possibility of good things. We have moved a little bit away from that oblivion branch into the other branch of nihilism, which says not necessarily that oblivion would be better than anything we have here, but everything we have here is pointless. There's no right or wrong. So there's no good or evil, which itself kind of leads you back around to pessimism and or depression of something, because wow, man, you know, I think the whole notion of life and consciousness is based on the doing of stuff. It's kind of hard to be conscious without doing stuff. And if you absolutely fundamentally declare that there is no stuff to do, no stuff worth doing, either now or in any possible future, you're going to wind up depressed. Right? The nihilist says every random rule we have of morality is an arbitrary rule. We made it up. Did we? I'll give you this, that we have tremendous problem figuring out what exactly is right and wrong. We've been debating this for thousands or millions of years, if you count all the caveman days and whatever. And there are a lot of various ideas. And in such situations, terrible atrocities have been called moral, typically by the people who did those atrocities, or like their buddies or something. But just because something is hard to pin down doesn't mean it's not there to be pinned down. Doesn't mean there's nothing there to go find what is right and wrong. I use a metaphor sometimes entitled blind man painting, which is self-explanatory right there. But I'll explain it anyway. The notion that a blind person could paint, and he'd be incredibly handicapped in trying to make the painting look like something in real life. But he technically could have a painting which is at least somewhat based on real life. He could, a blind person could walk over and feel it and sort of get a very vague idea and have some paint and sort of feel where he's put the paint on the canvas, and it would be a terribly, terrible painting, probably. Actually, I think there are a couple of blind painters out there, so I'm not criticizing you. I'm saying in the abstract, one would guess it would end up as a terrible painting. But it would still be based on reality. It would still be something. Even if that something is an infinitesimal fraction of the infinity, of the detail of the real world, that's still not nothing. And thus, similarly, our moral knowledge, though I'm sure is warped in a bajillion ways, even to this modern day, even in me, I'm sure there's all sorts of things that, like, in 1,000 years or whatever, people will look back on me, or maybe I'll look back on me, hopefully I get to live forever or something. We're working on that. There's science, they're working, maybe they're going to figure that out anyway. People will look back on me, on anyone living around here, and hopefully in the future they've, figured out better moral laws to look back and say, wow, that was crap, the X, Y, and Z that you did. And just as we look back on people from, hundreds or thousands of years ago, or, people from modern era, there's still immorality around, obviously. We look upon others and note, this idea was crap, particularly when it's a popular idea that makes it interesting. Popularly considered, everyone should, I don't know, kill the members of that other group over there. That's been a theme with history. And then we eventually go, no, wait, maybe killing is not so good. Particularly when it was the two groups just fighting each other because they're fighting each other. That doesn't work.